Hi witches! So today I wanted to touch one more time on shadow work since this is such a big concept that I see being talked about a lot online, but also because it's something that is like kind of a serious thing that I think people should not just like dive into without knowing enough about it. So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit more. I do have a video that goes over this at length previously in the year, so just check that one out. It should be in the same playlist, you just have to scroll for a little bit. I'll try to link it if I can remember, but it is very early in the morning. I am just waking up. It's a very cozy morning and people are just starting to emerge. So I have my tea and I just wanted to chat with you guys a little bit about it because it's an important topic. So shadow work. What is shadow work? Shadow work is a Jungian, so like Carl Jung is a psychologist, and it is a theory or exercise, I suppose, that is been somewhat co-opted by witches and kind of presented as like a regular practice of witchcraft, especially on TikTok. So if you're like an older practitioner like me, I've been practicing for 11 years. I didn't hear about this until like recently, within the last year or so. So shadow work is basically looking at the darker part of yourself and analyzing it. And the purpose of this is to cultivate self-growth and to come to terms with like the darker parts of your personality, your character flaws, and to work on them. So this is something that I see help a lot of people. I will be really honest about that. I do see that help a lot of people. However, I highly recommend that people do this concurrent with like going to therapy. Breaking down those really dark parts of yourself can be a little bit traumatic. It involves confronting trauma, and you see all these people who are like, I don't want to do shadow work, and it's like, yeah, you don't want to because you're forcing yourself to do something that like and confront parts of yourself that you don't like. One, that's why it's called work, and two, that's why it should probably be supervised by professionals, because I don't want anybody to like I don't know, be triggered or like have a negative experience. So as someone who has been to therapy and I haven't seen a therapist regularly in a while, I don't really do this. Now, when I was kind of in therapy, I did practice shadow work, but it was in the like setting of a therapist's office, and I had someone to talk to and just like work through all of my things, which is why I am slightly better now. I do plan on going back to therapy. I think I still need it. But that is going to be something a little bit further down the road. I'm stable and like good right now, but there are still some things that I'm like, why do I do this? Like, I just need I need an adult to tell me why I'm like this. But to practice shadow work, a lot of people get like a specific notebook where they write things down. You can do it through art therapy, which is making art. I had a friend who kind of did that. She actually called it shadow work. It was cool. But I know she's like not super big on social media, but she's like afraid of snakes, so she painted a snake, and she goes, yeah, it helps me like confront my fear. Like the more realistic it gets, it's harder for me, but because I can push through that, it like helps me with my fear of snakes. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like, I think that's a really cool way to do it. So there are a dozen ways to do shadow work. A lot of people, like I said, do prefer journaling. Some people work with their deities. Again, I do recommend like maybe talking to a therapist before you start. And if you ever at any point get uncomfortable, please stop. And just like treat yourself nicely, like do some self-care and just don't push it too hard, because it can be traumatic to pull up these negative feelings. So I wanted to give you guys just some like examples of like my personal shadow work that I like kind of doing or like just become more aware of. I plan on just like working on this more in the future. So personally, I have a lot of fear of failure right now. Yesterday was my last day at my job, like my desk job. So now I'm transitioning into this period of time where it's like everything's a little bit uncertain, and I'm starting my witch store, which should drop on Halloween. I will be putting more info about that on my Instagram today. Just hit my elbow, good. So I will be doing a lot more about that. You'll see me a lot more on social media, and I'm just kind of like preparing for that. So like one of the things that's really causing me like a lot of stress, I think, and because I feel like really like fearful of failure and everything's kind of up in the air, I'm now just like micromanaging. So like I just like today, like all I'm gonna do is clean the house, and I'm gonna like try to do some other things, but like I just really want my house to be like impeccable. So I'm gonna go do that, and I have some other little things that I need to do. I'm going to be updating Patreon. I'm going to be updating a bunch of other stuff this weekend. So like even as I'm listing this right now in the video, as I'm filming, like I'm getting stressed. Like I'm just like none of this is done yet. But I have a lot of time during the week now, so I think it's just getting out of the mindset of like, oh, I have to go to like a job 40 hours a week. No, this is my job for at least 20 hours a week. So I have a lot of like shadows to work on, I think, and it is something that I do plan on getting better at, especially around this time of year. A lot of witches do shadow work around this time of year because it is kind of the darker half of the year. It's easier to kind of confront those. We are inside a lot more. A lot more things might come up for you. So that's why I do want to like reiterate, if at any point when you are doing shadow work, you feel uncomfortable, if you are getting just too upset or anything like that, please go see a doctor if you can. I know it's not always accessible, but even just talk to somebody, you know what I mean? So, yes, please be safe, you guys. Shadow work is not necessary to practice in order to be a witch. So don't worry about that. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. Please drink a cup of tea or nice warm drink this blustery autumn morning. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.